All right, this is the next video on bringing Greta back to life, or trying to. I've learned a few things about this mower since the last one. I did replace the cracked manifold, plastic manifold, because it had a hole in it right in there. And so now I have a replacement. I've reset the air gap on my coil because I had to take the coil off in order to replace that manifold. So I recommend you do that. That way you don't get a bunch of trash down there trying to fumble around, jam it in there. The other thing I ran into on the mower was that, as I mentioned, somebody had run the spark plug cable through the wrong spot, and they in fact did cut it. And so I don't know if this mower is going to run. It may not, because I did put some electrical tape on there to cover up the split, the cut. I looked at it real closely. I could not tell if the actual wire was cut. It may have just been the outer sheathing, but it was cut about halfway through, or maybe a little more, but it was cut badly. So this is now going to go over there into that little groove where it belongs, so it won't be cut by the rewinder. And speaking of the rewinder, I think one of the reasons it was loose is because it wasn't fitting. Somebody had cut on this thing, and I was correct. This is a rewinder from a pressure washer or a a tiller, but not a lawnmower, because there was no space for the brake. So what they had done is they cut a space for the brake, engine brake. So there's one edge there, and there's one edge there. But the problem was that I had to cut it more because they did not cut it enough. And when you put it on here, you're effectively creating a kill switch that was always on, because they had this metal piece, which I've since bent up, touching the kill wire. So this mower is never going to run. So I bent it up. I'm still using their pressure washer rewinder because it does work. And oh, by the way, it is a rewinder. It's not anything else. I don't know what I was saying there earlier. It's a rewinder from a pressure washer. The reason I know that is this label. See, it's talking about gallons per minute and PSI. So this came off a Briggs and Stratton pressure washer that had a 1950 PSI, and it would pump 2 gallons a minute, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where this came from. So as you can see, I've cleared a space so that it doesn't touch the kill switch, that copper wire right there. It would kill that mower if that housing was touching that, and it was. So let's slide this guy over here in the correct position, right in there. So yeah, now this sits down like it's supposed to. So let me set the phone down and put my gloves on, and we're going to reassemble Greta and see if she's going to run. I've got to get my 3 screws here. And I may end up having to take all this apart and replace that coil, because of that spark plug wire may be cut in half. But I'm going to try it and see what happens. Okay, so I need my 3 screws. 1, 2, 3. One in the front. Right there. Get that one started. And get this one started. Just using my fingers. This is a 3/8 head, and then this one over here. And just getting these started. Just getting them threaded in a little bit. There we go. Okay, I'll just find my 3/8 head socket and snug these up, and I'm going to watch and make sure that spark plug wire doesn't slip over and get over there where it was and end up cutting it again, which would be tragic. I'm going to move that, make sure it's sliding in and out, so that's good. Okay. I think before I install the tank, I need to go ahead and check the oil, make sure this thing is not just completely out. Check the condition of it. There may not be any oil in there. I mean, it's damp, but I don't see any kind of a level. So put that back down in there. This mower may be shot. Yep, there's no oil at all in this mower that I can see. That's even worth mentioning. So I'm going to get me some old oil because I'm not confident this mower is even gonna run and it's worth saving. So I'm going to get some of my old motor oil and put it in here. These take about 16 to 18 ounces, sometimes 20, but I find putting about 16 in there right now. This level on this is 32, so I'm going to go ahead and get down to where it says 16. Now there may be a little oil in there that's just not shown on the stick, so let me go ahead and check that. See if it made any difference at all. I sort of hope there's some oil sitting down on the bottom. It's still not even registered on the dipstick. Wow. What happened to all the oil? Hope it's not pouring out under my table. I think I'm down to showing 24 ounces. Let's see if that is starting to show up on the dipstick. All right, it's showing up. I got a little bit. Let me wipe this and put it in there again. Maybe there's a little bit of oil right down on the bottom, but that sure wasn't showing on the dipstick at all when I first checked it. Okay, it's touching the safe zone, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more in there. This is old motor oil that I've gotten out of other mowers. I work on so many I can't just throw it away when it's halfway decent. I can use it in mowers that are suspect, which this one is. It's suspect. I don't want to waste a brand new quart of oil on this thing if it's bad. Okay, that's showing up pretty good. All right, so we've settled that. Let's go back to our tank installation and our rewinder. That's feeling nice and solid. Okay, so I'm going to take my tank, which by the way, I've And I believe I've tested this one with kerosene. That's what I usually do. So I need to grab the end of this little wire loop and turn my tank kind of sideways and put it in the big hole in that butterfly right there. And now you turn and see if I got, yeah, I got the gasket and the retaining clip there. All right, so there we go. I gotta get my little grommet lined up. Okay, now I can start to push. I'm gonna hold the grommet with my thumb and begin to slide this on. Okay, that's not going on too easy. So what I'm gonna do is put a drop of oil on that manifold where it slides on. Move these springs out of the way and just put a few drops on there. It's not gonna hurt anything. It's gonna make this go on a little easier, I think. There we go, look at that. All right, so now the tank is on. Now I'm gonna secure it with the 3/8 here in the front. You have to move the tank sometimes to see that little hole line up. But I think it's right about there. And it kind of wiggle it around. Let's see. Yeah, I need to push it in towards the engine a little bit more. I'm getting there. Come on. There we go. It's threading in now. Okay, and this is where people make a mistake. Don't lose this spacer. The spacer goes between the tank and the engine. And if you try and put it on and cinch it down without this spacer being there, you will break your tank. And then you have a $20 or $30 repair you've got to make. A replacement of that tank. So I'm gonna get my needle nose pliers and hold that spacer in place. And now get the 1/2-inch head screw and slide it in. Okay, I felt it contact. And now let me get a 1/2-inch socket. I've got my 3/8 started here, and now I'm going to snug this up a little. That's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to snug up my 3/8 in the front. And now we'll do the 1/2 again. Snug it up real good. There we go. So see, that's nice and snug now. Nothing moving around. All right, let me show you the linkage and how it works. The carburetor linkage. Now, this is all assembled now. See our little spring there. And then you have the silver spring over here, which attaches to that tab. Both of them attach to the wire loop. And now I'm going to bump this. See how that moves over without much resistance at all. And that may be a little too loose. So I'm going to see if I can grab that. I'm going to grab this tab right here and pull it just a little bit over. And by the way, this is kind of in the wrong position. I'm going to bend it down. Watch this now, because it's sticking up. We don't need that there. It's actually in the way of this little adjustment. So I'm going to grab this. Okay, that moved it a little. I don't know if you noticed that or not. Now let's take a look at it. Okay, that may be just about right, or maybe just a little bit slow. I'm going to grab it one more time and pull this way. Okay, that definitely moved it. Let's look at it now. Okay, I think that may be about right. And then you can make fine adjustments with this really delicate spring over here by bending this guy a little bit. Let's do that. Just a little. Okay, now we're gonna, I think that may be just about perfect. I've done so many of these, I'm thinking that may be perfect. All right, so let's hook the pull cord up, and we may be starting this guy here in a minute, or at least trying to. So I'm gonna grab my pull cord, hold the engine brake down, put this up here like that, put it in the little key holster here, my hook. Need to get my 7/16 socket and snug that up. Got a brand new cord on here because this did come off a pressure washer and the cord was too short. You don't usually have great big long lawnmower type pull cords on pressure washers, they're shorter. Okay, so there, we got that. Now I've got to clear a path to get this mower down. And first I'm going to put some fuel in here and make sure that's priming. That's probably enough. I'm mad at myself because I just noticed I left the cap off my fuel can and the vent open. All right, so let's check this now. So it's priming. I just saw the fuel shoot in there, so that's good. I'm not gonna over prime it because I'm not ready to start it yet. So let me move some of this stuff out of the way. Pretty exciting. We're going to find out if this mower runs or if it just doesn't run at all because it's got a cut spark plug wire. That could be a problem. We'll find out. Things are falling. That was my butane lighter I used to seal my pull cord ends so they don't unravel. All right. Get my little engine brake holder here. I'm going to try and one-hand this thing. Usually I use a tripod, but I'm going to try it without it today. These mowers I get like this have been tipped over and then they smoke for a while and then until it burns off. We'll find out. Pretty exciting. We're going to find out if Greta's worth saving. Find out if her spark plug wire has been cut. Who knows? We will in a minute. I like these old mowers with the big chute on the side. Sure is hot here today. We're still in the heat wave here in late June 2025. Okay, all right, I'm going to push the primer a couple of times and pull this cord. You can see the fuel going in there maybe. 1, 2. All right, let's see what happens here.